Hello and welcome back to the Villa Filler podcast. I'm here as ever with my good friend Dan Wiseman. Dan, it's that time of the year again. We've left it late as we always do, but it's Premier League predictions time. We're running through the table 20-1. We're going to tell you who's finishing where, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen exactly how we say. We've also got some hot takes from you guys, the listeners, the watchers. Great idea from Dan. We'll go through them at the end. Mainly from a Villa perspective, but Dan, let's just jump straight into it, mate. We're talking bottom three, 20-18. Who have you got?
I really don't like doing this. I always try and stay away from the newly promoted teams because I feel like it's a little bit too obvious. But two of the three are in there for me. And I think two of the three will be in there for most people. In 20th place, I have your local. Were you closer to Hillsborough or?
That's a good question, actually. I think I'm equidistant from both.
Well, we'll call them, in the context of this, your local team. I've got Sheffield United at the bottom of the Premier League. Their business has been really smelly. Yeah. They've sold two of their best players in Njai and then Sanderberger to newly promoted team, Burnley. I mean, that smells on so many different levels. And then I've got Luton. And then I found this last one really hard. I have Nottingham Forest.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
That is an interesting one.
They've signed Matt Turner.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper.
I don't know. To be honest, I never really liked their squad, to be honest with you. But I think they had enough to get them over the line. I just don't think they've done enough this season. And we'll go through the teams that I have above them. But I genuinely think the bottom kind of 6 or 7 of the Premier League this season will be pretty rubbish. So it's kind of who's the least bad that stays up, basically. So they're quite interchangeable in my mind. But I just see Nottingham Forest as more disposable to the Premier League than the teams I have above them. So they're 18th. I know you've gone different to me, mate.
I have. So I've gone Luton rock bottom. They've signed Ross Barkley today, which is
they have interesting.
Probably as good as it can get when you're operating within the parameters they set themselves. It feels very Jesse Lingard to Forest, doesn't it, mate? Yeah. Like, can you get an old gun firing? I know he's only like 28, but God, he's been around for a long time. It feels like a lifetime ago he played for us, mate. Then I've gone Sheffield United. As much as it pains me, and as nice it would be to have a consecutive year of a local away day, I think they're really going to struggle. The business, as you say, has been pretty stinky, but they've just signed my new best friend and ex-Blue Nose, Austin Trusty. So hopefully Austin can keep him up. Funny story. Do you know, I didn't tell you about this. I'm gonna tell you and the listeners now. My best mate James is a Blue Nose. I know. Everybody knows one. Just happens to be like a brother to me. And I was out, for anyone who doesn't know, I was out in America with work recently, shooting with some teams, had a shoot with Arsenal, and obviously being in the States and Austin being an American himself, he was on the shoot, got speaking to him about Birmingham and how it's the greatest city on earth. And he was like, oh, where in Birmingham do you live? And I'm like, oh, well, I actually don't live in Birmingham, I live in Sheffield. And silly old me just being excited that, you know, I'm forming a blossoming friendship with a professional athlete who James, shout out to James, absolutely adored Austin Trusty when he was at Blues last season. Had a really good season for him. I feel dirty saying that, but he's a good player. I was like, oh, I live in Sheffield, and Austin goes, what's Sheffield like, Dan? How is that? You tell me about it. You talked, and it hadn't occurred to me at the time that he was interested in something I had to say, and obviously as it transpired, he's then gone and joined Sheffield. I think I may have greased the wheels on that transfer. So Austin.
So you're now a professional football agent, yes?
I think so. And I mean, I don't have Austin's number, but it'd be great if I live right under above a pub, Austin. Let's go for a pint. Let's
do it.
Let's get this done.
I'll get there.
He was a great sport, but I don't think he's going to be enough to stop Sheffield United from going down. And then in my final spot to go down 18th, I've got Wolves. Lopetegui walked yesterday. Gary O'Neill pointed today. a distinct lack of transfer business. We was talking about Mateus Cunha, what, by this time last year, mate, coming to Villa potentially. He's gone and joined Wolves like 50 million quid, and now he can't spend any money. So it's pretty stinking. I think O'Neill is probably better than most will give credit. It's not very sexy though, and I just think with the squad that Wolves have and the lack of business, I think now is their time. And I think a lot of these things, they all sort of, the financial issues, the managerial issue, like all this kind of thing, everything always generally happens at once, right? And as catastrophic as I think it would be, they need to just hit the hard reset and go down. Go back to bare bones, get back in the Championship, have a couple of years there. It's so funny watching the Wolves fans lose their shit online about financial fair play as if they didn't breach it multiple times to get promoted. And then hound us when we were also probably breaching financial at the same time. But, you know, what goes around comes around. And really I have no sympathy for them because they're a bunch of just really arrogant fans for no reason. For literally no reason.
That was pretty PG from you then. I was kind of bracing myself for like, oh God, what's he going to say?
I was really about to just let go then, but I managed to.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you.
New season, new me, mate. I've got no reason to put this negative energy out on Wolves. I could not care less about them. It's like people talk about being a rival in a derby. Maybe it is. I knew one Wolves fan growing up, and he was a bit of a dickhead. So like they mean nothing to me. But we should move on, mate, because we've got other. We're going to talk about the relegation battle here. We're going to go from anywhere from 11th,
to
17th, and this could be in any particular order, mate. I'm just going to throw you my. I'm going to throw you mine. Right, I've got West Ham 17th.
Yes,
I've got Bournemouth 16th. I've got Everton 15th. But I think that's going to be maybe the top of the struggling teams. I think anyone above that should be okay. I've got Forest in 14th, a surprising Burnley in 13th, and then I've got Crystal Palace in 12th and Fulham in 11th. I'm not liking Fulham in 11th though, but I've locked it in.
Yes. See, I've gone it's so hard to predict this kind of mire of teams, isn't it? So I'm going to give you mine. It's quite similar. I have Wolves just surviving the drop in 17th, followed by West Ham in 16th. Now, I really don't like West Ham, but I think when you have James Ward-Prowse's free kicks and Harry Maguire's head, that's goals. So, put them above Wolves. I then have Fulham. Okay. I'm a bit worried about Fulham. I really like Fulham. I like what they're doing. I just worry about goals. If Mitro's head is already in the Middle East.
I was going to say, has that happened yet?
Not happened. It's not happened, but apparently he threw all his toys out the pram.
Yeah.
I mean, Raul Jimenez has only got half a head. So you've got one player's head's gone. One who's only got half one anyways, bless him. We all want the best for Raul Jimenez, but I know like Fulham fans are like, it's not necessarily the most confident, inspiring signing. So I've got them above West Ham. I've then got Bournemouth in 14th, Crystal Palace in 13th. Everton have somehow made it up to 12th in my list.
That's quite lofty.
Burnley have gone all the way to 11th. I don't know how that's happened. I would probably do some swapping around there, but honestly to God, mate,
locked in, mate.
Those teams from honestly, I'm pretty confident saying that Wolves and West Ham will struggle, but from 15th to like 11th, those 4 or 5 teams, you could do them in any order for me, and I would happily back it.
I think that's going to change on a week by week basis. Pure like there's going to be I think it's the same most years, isn't it? But I think 15th and below is like the relegation mini league, and then you'll have 14th to 9th maybe as the sort of your mid-table again, and everybody in these categories are going to be split by goal difference. You know, it's going to be pretty close this year, I think, with especially with who we've got positioned in our sort of top 10, and even, you know, sort of extending that to top 7. I think Palace may be quite high on both of ours. they've not really signed anyone. They've signed that Brazilian wonder kid, and they've signed Jefferson Lerma. I like Lerma. I think they ended up sticking with old Roy, which I don't think is the worst thing, but I
don't hate it.
I think it's not a backward step and it's not a side step. I'm going to go with a diagonally backward step. So
yes, I would agree. I would agree. It's a bit sideways. I think Ebereeze and Elise are going to go Super Saiyan on this season, though.
yeah,
If Elise's still there.
I was going to say, we're talking about Chelsea and City, right?
Yeah, if he's still there. But Eze's in my fantasy team, so I have to back him to do well. I think with Wilf gone, he's the talisman. He's the guy. He's picking it up. It's going on his back. And I really like Ebereeze, so I'm going to back him to do it. But yeah, I mean, if you told me that they sort of sink into the relegation fight, I also wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, these are all going to be tough to predict because it's much of a muchness, right?
Indeed, mate.
This is where it gets interesting, though, mate. Top 10.
Yeah.
Give me 10 to 8. 10 to 8, mate.
I have. Now this is where it gets interesting for the fans. I have Brentford in 10th.
The same.
I have Brighton in 9th.
Oh, me too. Look at us.
And then I have Tottenham Hotspur in 8th.
You're reading my answers, mate.
You know what?
We didn't consult each other on this, guys. We did not consult each other.
No, we didn't. I found this really hard because Brighton are definitely way too good to come 9th. Brentford, I think, are going to go like that without Ivan Toney, and then they're going to go like that with Ivan Toney. So for anyone listening on Spotify, that's a very sharp downward slope and then very much an upward aggressive one. Spurs, I really like Ange. I really want him to do well. I think they're looking a lot better than people expect. I think they're going to play some really nice football, but I just don't think they're as good as the sides above them. And in my top 7, then it's no surprise, mate. I do have Aston Villa, but I will wait to tell you where to hear what do you want to do? 7 to 4?
I think so. Well, top 5 gets Champions League next season.
Yes.
Which is obviously something to consider.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it allows your Liverpools, your Chelseas, your Spurs, Uniteds. It allows them to have a poor season and still get rewarded. I don't know how I feel.
Well, under the new Champions League, do you not have that thing where it's like your UEFA coefficient? So like
I believe so.
One of those, you could have a Chelsea like last season finish like 12th and still be within a shot of getting in the Champions League because of their coefficient or something crazy like that. So yeah, it's going to help the big boys.
Yeah, I don't like that. We're building up our coefficiency though by being in the Conference League because I think I remember reading. This could be wrong, but you'll be able to see it on the UEFA Rankings Twitter account, which has been the one thing that I think I've checked every single day. I think our coefficiency points were like 35. It was either 35 or 350. I can't remember how it was done, but there was definitely a 3 and a 5 in there, which I thought was really interesting because 13 years ago was the last time we played in a UEFA competition. I know obviously we won it. I wonder how many credits that gives us winning it in 1982. But there we go. Tick it off. Villa fan bingo. Talk about 1982. But no. So 7th, mate. I've got Newcastle. I think.
Nice.
I do think they're going to get grouped in the Champions League, but I think they're going to get everything they've got, and I think that means they're going to lose a few more games than they would have hoped to have lost earlier on in the season. When they're out of it, I think they'll be fine and they'll be winning games and whatever. But I'm just pulling up the Premier League table from last season because they drew an awful lot of games, didn't they, Nick?
They really did.
So Newcastle really did. Drew 14 games, which is the joint highest along with Brentford. So that just goes to show you how important it is just to have points on the board. Only lost 5 games. I see half of them draws turning into losses. All wins. Yes. Not, I just don't think they're going to be able to be as competitive in as many games when they're playing so many with a sort of tight schedule this year, like the first half of the season. And I think as well, if they do get grouped, they're going to want to go and, have a cup run potentially. That's, they're gonna want to potentially get some silverware. That could be another entryway into Europe. May not be the European competition that they want, but I think, I think they'll be okay. But I think, as I said, I think they'll be grouped. And then I've got us in sixth, mate. I've got us in sixth.
Nice.
I think the more I've listened, I've sort of let myself get sort of carried away, personally and privately, about the season and what we can achieve and the lofty heights that Unai can sort of bring to Villa Park. But sort of sobered myself up listening to a few other just sort of external voices. Jamie Carragher was really negative on the overlap. I don't know if you watched the overlap. Shout out to Luke Robinson, by the way.
Yes, man.
Luke
Massive.
absolutely killed it, man. I fucking love Luke. Luke's such a good guy, and he deserves that so much. But yeah, so Jamie Carragher was quite negative on that, and that kind of brought me back down to earth a little bit. I'm very hyper aware of not being that Villa fan that's like, we're going to win it all, because
yes,
there's quite a few on Twitter, and I love the enthusiasm. Genuinely, guys, I love it. It's fantastic. But let's not be delusional now. Let's not move like Arsenal fans or Newcastle fans or whatever. I think 6 is a massively successful season with a cup run or two. And
I agree.
I would back us to win the Conference League without us, we've not even kicked a ball competitively yet, but I think I'd back us to do that. A lot of big teams have already gone out of the Conference League in the qualifiers as well, which is obviously very helpful. So you've got to be wary of the teams that may drop in. And then 5th, mate, in the final Champions League spot, I guess that is, I've got Liverpool. But if I'm being honest, I think either of the 3 teams that I've just gave you, us, Liverpool and Newcastle, that could be in any order.
Yes. I have Tottenham in 8th. I'll have Villa then in 7th.
Ooh.
Behind Newcastle in 6th.
Okay.
I actually very much agree with everything you said, actually. But on the basis that I think we're going to go further in the Conference League than Newcastle will in the Champions League, I've put the switch on in terms of league position. But I still think 7th is very respectable. I actually, to be honest with you, I've been a bit weak with my prediction here, because I am really cold on Chelsea. This is going to be really funny to look back on, because no doubt a few match weeks into the season I'm going to be looking really silly here, knowing me. But I'm really, really cold on Chelsea. I really don't like it.
No?
Not much. No.
Not a Poch guy?
No.
It's almost gone too good pre-season, hasn't it? It's been too good.
I just worry a little bit about the leaders. I saw Reece James as their captain, Ben Chilwell as their vice captain. I think the oldest guy in the squad are like Kepa and like outside of like Thiago Silva, like Kepa and Raheem Sterling, like 28. Although they've only got the league to prioritise, so I've put them in 5th. So to caveat everything that I'm saying, I think they're going to have a decent season. And then since I'm on a roll, mate, I will roll you through my 4-1 and then throw it back to you. I have Manchester United in 4th. I have Liverpool in 3rd. I have Arsenal in 2nd, and then completely non-controversially, Manchester City to win the league.
Are they going to be the first team to win 4 in a row?
Yes.
If that happens, obviously, that's mad.
I think they'll do it relatively comfortably.
Arsenal are a weird one, aren't they? Because they've sort of strengthened, but I mean, I do rate Havertz quite controversially. I think there's a player in there. I think it will take a lot to get it out of him, and you've got to find the right position. But I think there's a player there. But spent a lot of money on him. Jurrien Timber, fantastic protege. Up and coming, not up and coming. He's fairly established, but you know what I mean. He's got a high ceiling, but like, who's he starting over? I don't really know. David Raya, that's been announced within the next 2 days. really weird move to me. Like I really don't rate Ramsdale. I think he's so overrated. But having both Raya and Ramsdale, that's just so weird to me. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
They're going to be unhappy. And I mean, they've just sold Matt Turner, who probably wanted game time himself, but I think would have been happy with just cups and odd Prem game here and there for Arsenal. And I think he was probably more than good enough to be a backup. I don't really get the logic behind having two elite goalkeepers. I can't believe it's called Ramsdale elite. Oh my God, I feel sick. He's not. But you know what I mean. I don't know. There's just a lot of question marks. I think we'll learn a lot about Arsenal. If they bounce back, then I think we can, really start considering Arteta as the sort of real deal. And then
I agree.
And then I don't think, little fools like me can question signing people like Raya, because he's clearly got a plan. But yeah, I think we'll see what they're really made of this year. Because
I agree.
No team at the halfway point had ever amassed as many points than Arsenal, and then they still managed to fumble it. But like, it happens all the time, though, doesn't it? Like City will give teams, they'll give them the first half of the season, and then City will have to win all of their games, and then City just do that like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's really interesting as well. It's really interesting. I saw a stat. It was like, I think, don't quote me on this because this is probably wrong. It's like, I think, I don't know, of the last five Community Shield winners, like 3 haven't made the Champions League the following season, which is interesting. And in the last 4 or 5 in the same period, the team that won the Community Shield has never gone on to win the league. So bodes well for Man City if you take Community Shield as anything to go by. But obviously most people don't, and that's fair enough. But yeah, to be honest, mate, I'm more confident on my top 10 than my bottom 10, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's going to be an interesting season.
No, it is. It is. So I've got Chelsea 4th, but I think I've bought into a lot of the hype. I'm really feeling them. I'm really feeling Nicholas Jackson. Really unfortunate that Nkunku's injured. It's going to be really tough watching Nicholas Jackson score on us, mate. Knowing that we were really pushing for that. Like, that's one we really wanted. And a lot of us, I think me included, I can't remember what I said, but I probably said, we're a bit unproven, whatever. That's gonna look very stupid, but he looks really, really bloody good. I've got United 3rd. I think they'll win a cup as well. If we don't, so I think we'll try and win a cup. But yeah, whatever cup Man City don't win, I think United will win, whether that's Carabao, FA. Then I've got Arsenal 2nd and Man City 1st again, uncontroversially. And I don't think Arsenal are going to be anywhere near Man City either. I think it'll be them, United and Chelsea and Liverpool battling it out for 2nd all year, while City just steamroll to the title, mate. And like, City haven't even really signed anyone. I mean, they've signed Gvardiol. We probably won't even see him till January because that's just what City do. They've signed Kovacic, which I really like, but obviously they've lost.
Are they worse than they were last season? That's what I'm going to say. Like, they've lost these players.
Yeah, that's an interesting debate, mate. That is. I don't know.
You can make that. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying I think you can make that case, right? That I think they are definitely. Look, I saw a stat the other day. It was like, in losing Gundogan and Mahrez, that's, I think, 22 goals and 20 assists last season.
I think Mahrez is so underrated as well. I'm not disappointed that he went to Saudi. I'll give anyone who's a Muslim a pass on going to Saudi, because you're going to be surrounded by people within your faith. I do think Mahrez could still play for a top club, but in terms of the lifestyle and everything like that, I can understand why Muslim players would want to go over there. Totally get that. And as well, just a ridiculous amount of money they're being paid. Obviously, very hard to say no. But I can't help but feel like he could still play a role at Man City. I mean, we're talking about Barcelona trying to sign Bernardo as well from Man City. City could look really different coming in the window.
Mm-hmm.
They've obviously had quite a few outgoings. Did they miss out on Rice? Is it fair to say they missed out on Rice? Did they want Rice? Did they want him that bad?
I
believe that.
I don't think City would miss out on targets.
Yeah, really. City get their men, don't they?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I feel like they do this. They got involved with like Alexis Sanchez and Harry Maguire. Didn't they? Do you remember?
Fred.
They just sort of like sprinkle their name in, but you never really feel you know the guys that they want, and you know the guys that they don't. And I don't think City were going to go and pay 505 million or whatever for Deck. Nor should they, because Rodri is fantastic.
He is. He's brilliant. And Kovacic, I mean, what, like 25 mil, 30 mil for Kovacic? It's a barn.
I like it.
I like that a lot. He's different.
Yeah, me too.
He's not Gundogan, but at least Gundogan won't be there to score against us. Unless, that's unless Barcelona haven't registered him yet. So he could still leave before the season starts, which would be so typical of Barcelona. But yeah, that's
great.
Our Premier League table, 20-1, guys. Let us know where you think we'll finish and give us your tables. But now, before we end, mate, we've got some red hot takes, haven't we?
We do,
from you guys, the listeners. So Dan, let's kick this off, mate. Let's kick this off. I know we've got some interesting takes here.
Well, yeah, we'll then do this quick fire hot takes, a minute or two max on each. First one comes in from Ryan Lee 8712. I think we'll finish third. Then I love this. Backs it up with not really a hot take. I think that definitely is a hot take, Ryan. But I really believe it. I think there are 17 teams who finish below us. So his maths is all on point. And then love what you do, lads. Really good content up the Villa. So thanks for the love, Ryan. Mate,
Ryan.
Quick fire on that. How do you feel?
God. I love it. Ryan's always in the comments. Ryan is always in the comments, and I love that from him. I think third that's a lot. That's a lot to ask, but that's the kind of belief we need. We need to be behind the lads, mate. We need to be behind. I love it. Absolutely. I love it. Keep it coming. I hope there's this energy throughout all of them.
There is and there isn't. So there's a mix. There's a mixed bag here. But also keeping the optimism train really rolling. Luke Harrison 7879 says, "I'm predicting a league and cup double. Not the Premier League. Don't worry. That is the Conference League and either the FA Cup or the League Cup. Does that count as a league or cup double with the Conference League? I don't think so, Luke.
Technicality.
I love it. Buendia will progress again and get 10 goals and 10 assists all over. And we finally go on to regret the selling of Aaron Ramsey, if only for the chance, and this is the best part, to have a trifecta of Ramseys lead us to European glory in 2029.
I love that. That's one thing I love. It's so Football Manager, that, isn't it, mate?
There's so much to digest there.
I don't even know.
So many different bases. The 20 goal contributions from Buendia. I would love to see it. And then I think the Aaron Ramsey one is interesting. I'm glad there is a buyback clause on that one. And wouldn't we love to see a trifecta of Ramseys? I love the specific call on 2029 that we're winning the Champions League. So book it.
Get that in your diaries. I spoke about having a big year.
Yes, that's a big year.
It's a bloody huge year, mate. It's massive. I don't think he has that big of a year. He's little Emmy.
Yeah,
I'll let you carry on, mate. 'Cause we've got Billy Sharp in our comments.
Billy Sharp. So he's released from United and straight onto the Villa podcast, bringing the mood down a little bit. I hate to say it, but I see Diaby not living up to expectations.
I mean, it's another Bundesliga winger. Look at a lot of it.
The trends suggest that Billy is going to be on the money there, but on the complete flip side of that, Jamal says that Leon Bailey is going to shine 100% injury-free.
I love that. Jamal, you're singing
what
from my
a twist that would be. Diaby comes in, and it's Bailey that goes clutch.
I would love that. I'm so here for a Leon Bailey redemption. I don't even want to call it redemption. It's not redemption because he's not had the full chance, in my opinion. That's controversial.
No.
I know that's controversial. No. The comments are going crazy already. They're annihilating.
That's what this is about. However, on the complete flip side of that, Ragnar says, if a good offer comes in for Emi Martinez, we should take it and get Pickford or someone younger.
No.
Also, Bailey isn't Premier League level.
No, Ragnar.
That was 0 for 3.
Oh, this is a hot take. This is you've delivered.
It's what we asked for.
It's what we wanted, but no. we've got one more year of Emmy. This
We do.
is our final year with Emmy. Let's all just come to terms with that. This is it. He's gonna go out. He's gonna bow out a Conference League winner. Manifest it. I'm knocking on wood.
Love it.
We're gonna win the Conference League with Emmy, and then we will give him a kiss goodbye, and he'll go and sign for. I was going to say Inter, but they offered 15 million quid, so they can fuck right off.
Yeah.
He'll go and sign for a European giant that we can all watch and adore and buy the shirts of and love. And hopefully it's not a club like Lazio who are like fascists or whatever. So hopefully it's a nice club that we can get behind. And yeah, no, he's not leaving. Not yet. One more year.
We will go on to win the Conference League, says Ben Thornton, conceding less than 8 goals the whole tournament.
Oh my God. Well, do you know what? I mean, like, I don't want to get carried away. It's not even confirmed it's been Hibs yet, mate, but I think we could play the kids there. Do you not think we could play the kids there? They've got quite a few of our kids.
Get it done at Easter Road or whatever is first.
Yeah,
because we know that the things might flip if Hearts get in. Whatever the first leg is, be it Easter Road or Villa Park, get it done, and then second leg, let's experiment a little bit. I think that. But I love how
I like that.
One thing I loved most about these hot takes is how specific some of the takes are. I love that less than 8 goals. Not even like we'll have a rock solid defense. Like no, 8 goals is the hard line, Ben, and we will hold you to it. I like that. Captain K, long time viewer. Shout out Captain K.
Shout out Captain.
Having chats with this guy for a long, long time. So shout out to you. Watkins will get 20 Premier League goals. Villa will finish 5th, and we will win the Europa Conference League, but end up qualifying for the Champions League instead, thanks to the new 5th place getting confirmed.
Yes.
20 Premier League goals for Ollie. Interesting. FPL, he's the 3rd most expensive striker behind Holland and Kane.
8.
So, yeah, FPL would say that, he's bang on the money for some goals this season, Captain K, so you're probably not a million miles away there.
20's the next. That's the next landmark, really, isn't it? We've had double figures 3 times.
5th, that's only 1 place above your prediction of 6th.
Yeah.
So 5th, that's not a million miles away. Villa back in the Champions League next season, according to Captain K. And then the last one on my list, from my favourite username of all, we're coming back like a 2012 card handle, XXBaller099GFXXZZ, says, we will finish 9th, but cup double, Conference League and or FA Cup.
Is that a successful season?
Yes.
Of course it is. What a stupid question.
Yeah,
stupid question.
West Ham had a controversy. Like, I think 20 years time, who's going to be talking about last season's West Ham season? It's like, oh yeah, but we only missed out on relegation. No, it's going to be you went all the way to Prague or wherever they won it, and picked up a trophy against bloody Fiorentina. That's what it's all about.
You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. Let's go. Oh, I'm so gassed now, mate. Let's go win some bloody silverware. Let's make it happen. God, these hot takes, they really delivered.
That's really fun.
Maybe we should have done that before the table.
That was really fun. There's a whole. I couldn't get everybody in, so I'm sorry I missed you out as well. But there was like so many replies, especially on YouTube. So shout out to all of you guys that sent them in. Maybe in a few months' time we can do a kind of reassess, and we'll go back. You guys send in some more, or look back at your old ones. We'll have a good old time, and we'll all look like mugs because no doubt both you and I tables will be absolutely horrendous by then too.
We're bookmarking 8 goals conceded in the Conference League, by the way.
Yeah,
we're bookmarking that. We're coming back to that one. Don't you worry. This is a great episode. I always love these episodes, mate. There is so much more to football than Villa, and it's fun to talk about that. But obviously, bloody love talking about Villa as well, mate. Thank you guys, everyone who got involved. The season it's literally just about to start, and it's going to be the most exciting season since the Villa Fillers inception. So you guys are going to want to make sure you're subscribed, right? There's 54% of you guys watching this right now are not subscribed. Hit subscribe, hit the notification button. You'll never miss a podcast or a video from us here at Heart of the Holte. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Apple, iTunes, follow, review, all that stuff, and up the Villa.